it's Kevin again, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing to Total Drama All-Stars, Episode 11, Sunday Muddy Sunday. Before I start, again, I'm sorry I'm posting this review late. As I said, I am in tech week for the play, my school play, so I'm not as, I got home early, I got home a little bit earlier this time, like at 6 o'clock, but I had to eat dinner, then do my homework, and I just finished watching this episode tonight, and I gotta say that I definitely enjoyed it. I did have one problem with it, and but definitely it was probably the most unexpected episode yet, because the person who left, I would have thought would have made it to the final four. The person who would have left tonight did not leave. I thought the person who was going to leave was going to be Scott, because, he's pretty much the biggest game player left in the game, and that's who Mal would want to take out. However, this episode did not focus on Mal as much as it did on Courtney. Her friendship with everyone. Sorry, I'm downloading CDs on my computer, so that's why you just heard that noise. But pretty much, not downloading CDs, I'm importing CDs. But pretty much what's going on in this episode is that the biggest thing with Mal, let's just get to Mal first, because, Mal's the best part. Mal, there really wasn't much going on with Mal. There is some stuff. We see that in Mal's head, Mike and everyone think that Mal is starting to weaken. They're in Mal's head. This puppet comes out, and it turns out that Mal is controlling the puppet, and he still wants to get rid of Mike and everything, and he's just kind of tired of it. He really wants to get rid of Mike. He's also trying to look for the evidence that Alejandro proved, so he has no way to prove to Zoey that he is Mal. Now, Zoey is still a little sketchy as to what Alejandro had said to her, and Zoey, by far, in my opinion, was the most annoying part of this episode. So, pretty much what Zoey ended up doing was that Zoey was the one who is kind of like, okay, so who was Alejandro talking about? She does not suspect it's Mike ever. She thinks, she actually thinks it's Courtney. Courtney was just, I feel bad for Courtney this episode. Usually I don't feel bad for Courtney. This episode, it was not fair what happened to her. Courtney was just, I think she made some really bad choices. Courtney basically had this chart. Now, what Mal did here was genius. It was really, really cool what happened here. Because Mal set his, sets high on who he wanted to take out next. And basically, she had this chart of her strategy to the final, two, basically. Because that's where she wants to go. She planned to get rid of Gwen in the final three, and then take Scott with her to the final two. Mal found this chart and immediately exposed Courtney's secret, and this really pisses Scott and Gwen off. Scott, because she drew a tail on him, which I thought was really funny, but Gwen is very hurt by this. She's like, final three, we had a final two deal here. You want to take me to final three? And she's really upset about this, and Courtney is all, Courtney feels bad and everything, but really, Mal started all of this. He really did. So, Courtney's trying to repair her relationship, it feels like a relationship in that one episode, but now it doesn't. But basically, she's trying to fix her alliances with Gwen and everything, and she still thinks that Gwen and Zoey are working together, and which Gwen basically says, oh, I'm not working with Zoey, and Zoey kind of starts to suspect that maybe Courtney could be the one who, Alejandro was talking about. And I thought that was really stupid the way that all worked. I already said that, but I just thought that was really stupid the way that all worked. Like, how could it have been Courtney? I don't understand the logic in Zoe's brain in this episode. Like, I just think she's just so in love with Mike that she wouldn't have thought he would do something like that. I think that's what it is. But pretty much what ends up happening is that she tries to repair her friendship with Gwen. Gwen says, I do still want to be your friend, and I want to help you. We're going to try to get Scott out. But you have to vote for yourself. So she ends up, she's just not really sure why Gwen did this, and I kind of thought Gwen had this whole plan. We don't really know why Gwen said this. Gwen also was on Boney Island in this episode, in the beginning of this episode, and so pretty much what happened is that they had these Sundays basically, and they had to build these Sundays. Courtney gave the Sundays to the interns, and I think Mal helped her with that, I believe. I don't remember that whole part. But because of that, they all had to eat their Sundays. Courtney refused to eat hers, and as a result, she ended up getting booted from the show. And am I surprised that she was eliminated? No, I am not surprised that Courtney was eliminated. If I were, definitely in this episode I wasn't surprised, but the whole thing with Courtney was very big. I definitely would have thought that Mal's next big target would have been Scott, but it wasn't Scott, and I thought that was pretty big the way that all worked out. There are some other things to talk about, though, that happened in this episode. As I said, Zoey was by far the most annoying part of the episode. Because Zoey just does not suspect for a second that Mal is the one who is doing all this. She doesn't. She doesn't think that Mal is doing any of this. She doesn't think that... there was literally a scene where he was talking in his Mal voice. She comes into the room. He's automatically Mike again. How could she have not heard him from the other room? How could she have not heard him? It's just like, she's so stupid. Zoey is by far one of the stupidest characters we've ever had on this show. This season, she's just so stupid. She just won't believe for a second that it is not Mike. She won't believe it. It's stupid. Because she pretty much thinks that Mike has a control over his personalities, which is complete bullshit. It's not true. I did think the stuff with Courtney was definitely really cool, definitely very unexpected. The whole big thing here is, did Gwen plan this out with Zoey? Are her and Zoey really in an alliance? Do you think that's what's going on here? Because it looked like they were sort of in an alliance when Gwen said, you gotta vote for yourself. Because Courtney broke her trust, basically, between everyone. It's all Mal's fault. Again, Mal did this. He found the chart. He exposed their secret. So now we have our final four. Scott, Gwen, Mike, and Zoey. Pretty much it's mainly ones from the second half of the show. And I definitely think that Gwen could be making it pretty far. I definitely think as long as they take out Scott next week, that Gwen could have a pretty good chance. I do think that it's going to end up with Mike and Zoe as the final two, but I think that this is by far one of the, Gwen almost won in season 1, but this is like the second farthest she's ever made it. It's definitely really, really great that she's making it really far, because I love Gwen. You guys know that. But pretty much this episode, that was pretty much the episode. There wasn't as much to this episode as there was in the other ones. It wasn't like a huge episode. Like, it seemed like, the biggest part was that it was just that, and then basically Zoey is given the spa hotel. And the one rule now is that from now on, like, you cannot take another guest with you. You can only go there by yourself. She has immunity now, so she could go there by herself. And she won the challenge. And Courtney's eliminated now. What do you guys think of this episode? Were you surprised that Courtney was eliminated? Who do you think Mal's next target is going to be? Who do you think that, what do you think is going to happen? With Mike, what do you think is going to happen there? Do you think that Zoey will eventually find out about Mal? Do you think Gwen's in an alliance with Zoey? I kind of think she is, especially after she told Courtney to vote for herself. I don't think she would have honestly told her that. Do you think Courtney screwed up things for herself? I think she definitely did. Scott was just hilarious this episode. He totally is just a total girl this episode. Like, seriously, he really was a girl this whole episode. But, again, this was not my favorite episode of the season. Definitely not my favorite episode. I thought last week's was a lot stronger. This one just was not as strong as last week's. It was cool to see Courtney, be betrayed by everyone. But I didn't like that we didn't get a lot of Mal. We really did not get as much Mal in this episode, and I wasn't happy about that. But that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video, which is going to be my review for the mid-season finale of Ravenswood. So see you then. Bye.